Focus on what you can do, not what you can't do. Let's talk about that. Hey everyone, it's the Coco Nomad, and on this channel, I talk about location and financial independence, share tips, tricks, and techniques that help you make a living and a life. And in this video, I wanted to talk about focus and focusing on the things that you can do and not the things that you can't do. And I wanted to start by just sharing this story that happened years and years ago. It was actually the impetus for me leaving contract position that I had. There was a new CTO that came into the company, and I had a one-on-one in like his first week, 2 weeks there on the job, and was given permission as a contractor to embark on a mobile project to find a problem to solve using mobile technology. At this time, mobile development was very, very new. This is back in 2007, 2008. So the landscape was still sort of really rough, actually. I mean, there was the early days of the iPhone. I don't know if Android had even launched yet at the time. There were still lots of other technologies. I had a Treo phone that I was trying to write things for, but there was an opportunity to start doing some things with the new iPhone and writing some mobile apps, or at least mobile accessible or mobile focused applications. And so the first thing I thought about was, wouldn't it be great if teachers could take attendance with their phones? So they have the kids, they're standing there, they have their phones right there, they can do attendance. They don't necessarily have to be sitting at the desktop to put that information in on a daily basis. And I actually had access as a developer working within the system to get to these different databases. I've been doing that for years. That's why I was there. And so I was given carte blanche. It's like, go out and talk to the people that you need to talk to. And I was met with two pieces of negativity. One was immediately with my direct report manager, did not think this was a good idea, thought it was another in a long line of failed efforts of every new CTO that came in and tried to do something. So I was already like, I probably need to leave now. This is not an air of uh, opportunity and positivity that I wanted to be in. I was super excited, and just instantly having someone try to damper and crush my excitement. And then the second piece that happened was I actually went to talk to one of the stakeholders who was actually over the database, that the attendance database. And their first response was, no teacher's going to do that. It's not, no teacher's going to do this thing. And I just immediately thought, wait a minute, this is not about the people who won't do it. This is about the people who will do it. And that's what brings me to this topic of focusing on what you can do, not what you can't do. Or in that instance, I'm not worried about people who won't do. I'm worried about people who will do. And that's who I'm there to serve. And that's who I'm trying to help. And here we are this many years later, and those people would have just been ahead of the curve, and all these other people would be catching up. And that's how those kinds of things tend to happen. So my first lesson from that was, arguing about what isn't for everybody is a complete waste of time. And time is your most valuable resource. Don't waste it. So when someone comes to you and says, you got this idea, you want to try this thing, you want to move in a new direction, and they tell you, well, everybody's not going to get on board with that idea. You don't need everybody to get on board with the idea. It's only for those who will keep moving forward. Don't waste any time arguing. Don't waste any cycles thinking about what they think and how that's going to go. Move forward. Okay. And then I looked at other ways that I've done this in the past where I applied this to taking that aspect of that perspective and only focusing on what I can do and not what I can't do, and just staying in that positive space moving forward. And it took me back to my gym rat days. And I've talked about many retirements, and I've talked about my years as a golf bum and beach bum and doing all this kind of stuff. But I never talked about, even earlier, that I used to play tennis all the time. So I was a tennis bum at one point, but I used to be a gym rat, basketball. I played every day. And I played at either SAC, which is a student athletic center at Georgia Tech, or I played at this place called Run and Shoot, which was a 24-hour gym. And I lived in those places. I had a roommate that played. I just ran in a circle of people who played basketball all the time. That was my life. And one of the challenges, of course, for someone like me, who wasn't as tall, my roommate was 6'8", tall, could play college ball. Of course, we're playing with college ball players, and constantly being out there. And I learned that I had to focus on what I could do. I wasn't a tall person. I didn't have long arms. And actually, I wasn't even a great 3-point shooter. So I had a solid mid range jumper. It was okay, serviceable. And I had to focus, but what could I do? What were my strengths? And my strengths were two things. One, I have really quick in all sports. I'm just fast. I was always fast. And a quick first step, which could get me away from defenders. And I could jump incredibly high for my size. And I mean, really high. So I decided to focus on that because those two things would allow me to create separation and get shots off. If I'm quicker and I can jump high, I can create space between me and you, no matter how tall you are. If I'm faster than you and I can get up there, I can create space and get a shot off, which meant mostly short jumpers, layups, getting to the rack, things like that. But I had to use those to my advantage because I didn't have these other attributes. I couldn't do those things, but there was no sense in me sitting here wasting time thinking about that. You know, I wasn't going to get any taller or be a baller. I'm sorry. Um, it wasn't going to happen. So I focused on the things that I could do. And so, how am I applying that now? I'm taking that same approach, that same framework as I'm learning about investing and I'm on this fire journey, this financial independence journey, and I'm learning about investing. Well, I'm learning new things in investing. I did some old things in investing that didn't necessarily work out for me, but I'm ready to learn some new things. Um, and my financial situation is, I mean, if I'm being frank, not great. I don't have retirement. I don't have a pension. I don't have any assets to speak of. I sold my house for a loss in 2019, and it was not a great experience. So I have to use what I do have. And this is what I do have. I have a very marketable skill that pays really well relative to most other jobs. I have the ability to travel because, again, I'm not tied down with any assets, no cars, no houses, no things like that. So on this move forward, I'm using what I can in the limited time that I have, not really limited time, but the time that I have. It's the time I have is the time that I have to use those things to my advantage, use what I can use and do what I can do. I have the internet and I can learn about investment strategies. And so I'm putting those things together to move forward and make this thing happen. So I just want to encourage anyone who's listening, if you're in a similar situation, don't bog yourself down in the negative thoughts about what you can't do or what you don't have. Focus on what you do have and what you can do. Formulate a plan, apply advice that's out there, make it work for your situation, create your own path, and move forward to success. I wish you the best. And as always, thank you for watching. If you like this, please click like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get more information like this as I continue to make videos. This is still a very young channel. Please share if you think this would help someone else. I really appreciate it. Have an amazing day, and I will talk to you next time. Cheers.